Hundreds of supporters of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro's regime out on the streets of Caracas and other Venezuelan cities. In this unusual protest, where they can be seen dancing on music, the demonstrators are questioning the seizure of a Venezuelan oil tanker named Skipper in Caribbean waters. Listen to some of them.
Bueno, aquí estamos protestando.
Well, we are here protesting against the interventionist policies that Donald Trump has in the Caribbean. We do not agree with his policy of plundering the wealth of our nation.
Riqueza de nuestra nación.
Ellos lo que quieren nuestros recursos.
What they want is our resources. They want to take over Venezuela. But we are not going to let them. We are not going to give in. We are here ready for anything to defend our homeland. And every day we prepare more because we are patriots. Because we love the homeland. Because we get up early and take to the streets to fight.
Porque amamos a la patria.
On 10th December, the US government seized Skipper off the coast of Venezuela. The estimated value of the oil seized, and which the United States says it intends to keep, is anything between $50 million and $100 million.
As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later.
So why the seizure? And what happens next in US-Venezuela tensions? Let's connect the dots. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt had this to say.
What I can tell you right now, the vessel has been seized, as you know. And the Department of Justice did that in conjunction with the Coast Guard and the Department of War. The vessel is currently undergoing a forfeiture process right now. The United States currently has a full investigative team on the ground on the vessel, and individuals on board the vessel are being interviewed and any relevant evidence is being seized. With respect to the oil, that's a different issue. As you know, Peter, the vessel will go to a U.S. port, and the United States does intend to seize the oil. However, there is a legal process for the seizure of that oil, and that legal process will be followed.
This particular oil tanker Skipper was sanctioned by the Trump administration in 2022 for its alleged role in an illicit oil smuggling network. According to the US, this network facilitated the transport of Iranian oil and generated revenue that supported Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force, and Hezbollah, organizations that the US labels as foreign terrorist organizations. US maintains that despite the sanctions, Skipper continued to carry Venezuelan crude worth millions to Iran and other countries and managed to bypass the sanctions by hiding its location through tactics like AIS spoofing, location concealment, and a false Guyana flag. This let the Venezuelan government make money to stay in power and helped Iran fund groups the US calls terrorists. So the Trump administration seized the tanker to disrupt such shadowy ghost fleets used by Iran and Venezuela and cut off that cash flow.
The Department of Justice requested and was approved for a warrant to seize a vessel because it's a sanctioned shadow vessel known for carrying black market sanctioned oil to the IRGC, which you know is a sanctioned entity. So the president is committed to stopping the illegal flow of drugs into our country. He's also fully committed to effectuating this administration's sanction policy, and that's what you saw and the world saw take place yesterday.
But Maduro's regime denies these claims. It insists the tanker was legally operating and not involved in illicit trade. It also rejects sanctions entirely as an illegitimate interference in Venezuelan sovereignty. Maduro calls the seizure piracy.
Absolutamente criminal e ilegal cuando procedieron.
Yesterday, they committed an absolutely criminal and illegal act when they proceeded to carry out a military assault, kidnapping, and robbery like pirates of the Caribbean on a private civilian commercial merchant ship. A ship of peace that was assaulted almost as it was reaching the Atlantic. It was not off the coast of Venezuela. It was almost up there, much further north of Trinidad and Tobago, towards the island of Grenada. already reaching the Atlantic. The crew of that ship, that vessel carrying 1.9 million barrels of oil to international markets, paid for in Venezuela, because everyone who extracts oil pays for it first. They are kidnapped, they are missing, no one knows where they are. They kidnapped the crew, they stole the ship. They have ushered in a new era, the era of criminal naval piracy in the Caribbean. So Venezuela rejects its entirety this act of criminal piracy against the entire Caribbean.
Maduro's allies are supporting him.
El despliegue naval ostensible, exagerado e injustificado.
We strongly condemn the vile act of piracy and theft of the resources of the Venezuelan people, which constitutes a serious violation of international law against the principles of freedom of navigation and free trade, and harms not only Venezuela but the international community. As a whole, we are facing the new corsairs and pirates of the Caribbean.
El petróleo del pueblo venezolano.
What they want is the oil of the Venezuelan people, and what they have done is steal an oil tanker. A robbery. They are thieves. Thieves with etiquette. Yes, they feel they have the right to steal the ship, steal the oil that the ship carries, and we must condemn them. Logically, those aggressions are pointing to all the countries of community of Latin American and Caribbean states.
Reuters reports that Washington won't stop here and is preparing to intercept more ships transporting Venezuelan oil. In fact, it is ramping up pressure on Caracas in different ways. The very next day after the seizure of the Venezuelan oil tanker Skipper, the US issued new sanctions targeting Venezuela. It imposed curbs on 3 nephews of President Maduro's wife as well as 6 crude oil tankers and shipping companies linked to them. The US Treasury Department said they had engaged in deceptive and unsafe shipping practices and continue to provide financial resources that fuel what it calls Maduro's corrupt narco-terrorist regime. And now Trump says land strikes are coming pretty soon against narcotics being smuggled over land.
Do you intend on seizing more oil assets from Venezuela and other tankers?
I wouldn't tell you that. I mean, it wouldn't be very smart for me to tell you that. You know, we're supposed to be a little bit secretive. You're a very big-time reporter, and I don't think I want to tell a big-time reporter or a small-time reporter that. But we are knocking out drugs at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water. And nobody can figure out who the 4%. I wouldn't want to be the 4% either, but 96% of the drugs coming in by water. Every one of those boats you see get shot down, you just saved 25,000 American lives. But we knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water. And now we're starting by land. And by land is a lot easier. And that's going to start happening. And we're not going to have people destroying our youth, destroying our families. Thinking about youth, everybody.
In fact, the US is continuing a military buildup it started in the Caribbean region in August this year. Since then, the US has deployed unprecedented forces under its Southern Command. It frames its operations as anti-drug efforts. The US's Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group with 4,000 sailors and F-35 jets joined the USS Iwo Jima Amphibious Ready Group carrying 4,500 Marines. MQ-9 Reaper drones, a nuclear submarine, and 10,000 to 12,000 personnel concentrated in Puerto Rico, just 500 to 620 miles from Venezuela's coast. In October 2025, Trump administration permitted the CIA to conduct covert operations inside Venezuela. That order empowers the CIA for clandestine activities on Venezuelan soil and in the Caribbean, including potential lethal missions against Maduro or his administration, either standalone or tied to military efforts. It aims to oust Maduro amid drug trafficking and migration concerns. Trump cited 2 reasons for the order: Venezuelan migrants flooding the US border and sea-based drug flows. Recently, US military aircraft and vessels were observed in and around southern Puerto Rico. Put together, this is similar to the scale seen in the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. Proximity from US territories like Puerto Rico enables monitoring of Venezuelan waters. Venezuela, on its part, has mobilized 200,000 troops and the Bolivarian militia. It calls its response Defense Against Imperialism. So far this year, there have been over 20 US military strikes in the Caribbean and Pacific against suspected drug vessels, resulting in nearly 90 deaths. The Trump administration has designated groups like Tren de Aragua and Cartel de los Soles as terrorist organizations, enabling aggressive actions without congressional war approval. The Trump administration has doubled the bounty on Maduro to $50 million for alleged narco trafficking ties to FARC and others. FARC stands for Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, a Marxist-Leninist guerrilla group founded in 1964 that fought the Colombian government for decades before a 2016 peace deal. Its dissident factions persist in drug trafficking. For now, diplomacy has stalled. A US Senate resolution aimed at curbing military actions against Venezuela and promoting congressional oversight failed around 9th December. 2026 could well see a tipping point, which could be either a regime change in Venezuela or wider conflict, or one leading to another. The outcome could threaten Latin America's fragile peace. India has reached a major milestone in the global race for artificial intelligence. According to Stanford University's 2025 Global AI Index, India now ranks third in the world for AI vibrancy, behind only the United States and China. In just 1 year, India jumped 4 positions. It's moved ahead of countries like the United Kingdom, Japan, South Korea, and Singapore. This rise is not just symbolic. It reflects deep changes happening across India's research ecosystem, talent pool, infrastructure, and real-world use of artificial intelligence. So why does this ranking matter, and what does it really say about India's position in the global AI landscape? To understand that, we first need to understand what the Global AI Index actually means. Stanford University's Global AI Vibrancy Index is one of the most respected assessments of AI competitiveness worldwide. The index measures AI performance across 7 key pillars: research and development, responsible AI, economy, talent, policy and governance, public opinion, and infrastructure. Together, these pillars offer a holistic view. Not just who is investing the most money, but who is building sustainable, scalable, and trusted AI systems. In the 2024 assessment, which forms the basis of the 2025 rankings, India scored 21.59 points. That placed it ahead of several advanced economies and established it as the third most competitive AI nation globally. The top 2 positions remain with the United States, which scored 78.6, and China with 36.95. The gap may look significant, but India's placement just behind these 2 global leaders is itself a notable achievement. What makes India's ranking even more striking is the speed of its rise. In 2023, India stood at the 7th place. Within a year, it climbed to 3rd, overtaking countries with long-established tech leadership. Both India and the UK launched major AI initiatives during this period, but India's progress across multiple pillars helped it pull ahead. India made steady improvements across research output, talent development, infrastructure availability, and economic impact. One of the strongest contributors to India's rise is its research performance. The Stanford AI Index notes a significant increase in scientific publications and patent filings coming out of India. In fact, India now accounts for 9.2% of global AI research publications, which is slightly more than the United States. This level of intellectual engagement shows that India is not only adopting AI technologies developed elsewhere, but also contributing actively to global AI knowledge. Indian universities, research institutions, and private labs are increasingly publishing work that influences how AI systems are built and applied. This research strength forms the foundation of long-term innovation. Further, India's biggest advantage is its AI talent. According to the Stanford AI Index report, India has 2.5 times more AI-skilled professionals than the global average. This large and growing talent pool has been a major reason why global tech companies continue to bet on India's AI future. Engineering colleges, online training platforms, and industry-led skill development programs have expanded rapidly. Together, they are creating a workforce that's capable of building, deploying, and managing AI systems at scale. But the report also points out a challenge. India has historically struggled to retain its top AI developers, many of whom move abroad for better opportunities. Experts say that the current tightening of overseas work visas offers India a window to retain domestic talent and attract Indian origin professionals back home. They also say that this could be possible if the right incentives are in place for these high-skilled professionals. Global confidence in India's AI potential is also visible in the scale of investments being announced. Microsoft's CEO Satya Nadella recently announced the company's largest ever investment in Asia. The company is going to invest $17.5 billion in India to build AI infrastructure, skills, and sovereign capabilities. Another tech giant, Amazon, followed with an even larger commitment. It will invest over $35 billion by 2030, with a significant portion directed towards AI, cloud computing, and logistics infrastructure. Earlier, companies like Intel, Cognizant, and OpenAI also announced collaborations and investment plans in India. Intel, for example, partnered with Tata Electronics to manufacture chips locally. This is a crucial step towards strengthening the physical backbone of AI. These investments will significantly benefit India's journey to becoming one of the world's leading AI hubs amidst growing competition with the United States and China. AI innovation depends heavily on access to computing power. Recognizing this, the Indian government launched the India AI Mission in March 2024. The goal was to build a strong, inclusive, and homegrown AI ecosystem. And in less than 18 months, the mission expanded affordable access to compute infrastructure by making over 38,000 GPUs available to startups, researchers, and academic institutions through a common compute facility. This move lowered entry barriers for innovation, allowing smaller players to experiment, train models, and build applications without massive upfront costs. The government has also begun supplying high-end computing chips to universities and startups with the aim of developing a sovereign large language model comparable to OpenAI's models or China's DeepSeek. According to India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, this model is designed to support more than 22 Indian languages. But the question is, why does sovereign AI matter? Let's understand why it's important. The government has openly acknowledged the risks of over-dependence on foreign AI platforms. There are concerns over surveillance, data security, and potential sanctions. Building domestic AI capabilities allows India to maintain greater control over sensitive data while tailoring AI systems to local languages, cultures, and use cases. Another important factor highlighted in the Stanford report is responsible AI. Responsible AI practices help build public trust and reduce potential harm from misuse or bias. India's performance in this area contributed positively to its overall ranking, reflecting growing awareness around ethical AI deployment. Public sentiment also plays a role. In India, AI adoption has been rapid, especially in consumer-facing applications. As people increasingly interact with AI-powered services, public perception shapes how widely these technologies are accepted. India's AI edge may not lie in building the most expensive frontier models, but in how AI is used downstream. Experts say that India is seeing a surge in AI-powered consumer applications, with startup investments in the space doubling from last year. Now, many of these startups are focused on solving practical problems for people who are still on the wrong side of the digital divide. One example is Mahavistar. It is an AI-powered app that's run by the Maharashtra government. It delivers agricultural advice in Marathi to more than 15 million farmers, helping them make informed decisions using accessible technology. This kind of application highlights a key strength of India's AI journey, using advanced tools to create large-scale social impact. India's third-place ranking in the Global AI Index highlights how far the country has progressed in a short span of time. More importantly, it shows how artificial intelligence in India is being developed, deployed, and used at scale so that it can touch millions of lives. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you in the next episode with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.